Okay, I'm trying a totally different type of a DIY project today, and I'm doing the first sample live on camera. I bought 2 t-shirts to do one first, and then I thought, what the heck, let's do it live on camera, showing the entire design process, and if it doesn't work out, it'll be a fail compilation video, or if it works out great, then there'll be pictures to show at the end of it as well. So here we go. I bought t-shirts for $4 at Walmart, and I'm going to need one of the tidbits, the smaller mini hank of Be So Fine yarn. I'm going to do white on white to start with. You're going to need a yarn needle, pair of sharp scissors, and a crochet hook. I'm using an F, which is also considered 3.75 millimeter. So let's get started. We are going to start by cutting the yoke off of the t-shirt. I want to keep the sleeves, so I'm going to cut about 2 inches below the shoulder seam and try to maintain about the same length below the neckband. And then we'll come around here and try to maintain the same exact length on this sleeve. So what I'm going to do is fold it in half so that I can try to be symmetrical in my cut. Okay, so I'll fold it right front facing out so that we can watch that neckline the whole time. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to try to cut from, you want to make sure it's all laying flat, otherwise your cut marks will get weird too. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to try to cut from 2 inches from the sleeve shoulder seam and maintain a straight line across to about 2 inches below the neckline. We're using a pretty sharp pair of scissors. We want to try to cut as smoothly and cleanly as possible. And the reason why I'm cutting so low is that I really want to have a couple rows of crochet on my top. If I cut really close to the neckband, it would be fine for making a wide top, but there would only be enough room to maybe do a shell or a very small border. I wanted to actually do a couple of rounds of lacy crochet on here, so that's why I cut it so low. So now this is what our t-shirt looks like. In the next segment, I'm going to show you how we get started with the yarn needle and setting up our first row for crocheting on fabric. The key to this project is finding the right type of yarn needle. You want a wide eye at the top, but you want it to still be fairly sharp at the bottom as well, because we need to stab it through the fabric. So first we're going to thread our yarn into the yarn needle. Okay, we've cut about 4 or 5 feet of yarn. And you just want to pick a spot on the yoke to start. And we're going to start in this seam here, and we're going to tie a knot. Okay. So now what I want to do is place a stitch every, let's say, every 1/4 of an inch or so. So we're going to insert our needle, pull the yarn through, but at the end of the stitch, I want to show you something special that we're doing now. We're going to insert our needle back through the loop just before we finish it off, to overlock it, because I want that vertical bar to now be sitting on the top of the work, because that's where we're going to work our crochet stitches when we're done with this row. Bring that up close so you can see it. See how it sits on top horizontally over the top of the work. So we'll do that again. We want to try to be consistent with every 1/2 inch doing a stitch. And then work right back through it so that we get that horizontal loop at the top of our work. We're going to do that all the way around, and I'm inserting my needle about a 1/4 of an inch below the raw hem of our cut line on the yoke. So about a 1/4 of an inch down and a 1/2 inch over, and then we work back through the stitch just as we're finishing it up so that we create that beautiful horizontal loop that we're going to work our crochet stitches in. It'll be the place where we can actually insert our crochet hook, because with a fabric this fine and this tightly woven, there's no way we would be able to get a blunt tipped crochet hook into there. So by using a sharp needle and creating these larger spaces, we're creating a perfect scenario for crocheting onto this fabric. So you want to just continue doing this all the way around the top, and once you've reached all the way around, which I'm going to do right now, I'll show you how we get started with our crochet hook. Okay, I've made it almost completely around and I've run out of yarn, and I'm glad I made this mistake for two reasons. First of all, I want you to remember that it's okay to make mistakes, and we are all human, we all make mistakes, and usually they can be fixed. And number two, I wanted to show you how to fix it. So we're going to have to actually tie this one off. So we're going to go back into our last stitch worked and just tie a quick knot. Okay. We're not going to actually be tying these together because once you put a knot into it, it wouldn't actually sew into the fabric. So we actually have to finish that one off completely. And then we're going to grab another piece of yarn. So if you were going to do this without the mistake, I would say maybe make your original piece of yarn 2 yards, 6 feet, 7 feet, you know, a little bit more would be better than a little too much is better than not enough. So we're going to just basically start all over and start by tying our yarn very close to the last stitch worked, and just continue on in the established pattern. We'll weave these ends in later on once we have a body of crochet fabric to weave them into. Okay, so we'll just continue on just as we've done before. We're going to be working every 1/2 inch over and every 1/4 of an inch down until we reach all the way around to our first stitch. Okay, so we've made it all the way around. We're just working our last stitch here, and we're going to need to fasten off. So we're going to tie a knot, and then we'll fasten off, cut our yarn. So now we have 1/2 inch stitches all the way around our yoke. It actually is pretty just on its own, but now comes the really fun part, because now we're going to bring our crochet hook into the mix and start working our pattern. So we're going to start, may as well start where we started the stitches. So we're going to just insert our crochet hook. I tied the yarn onto my crochet hook. You can do a slip knot if you prefer. I prefer a solid knot. And I'm going to insert my crochet hook into that first overhand stitch on the yoke of the t-shirt, and we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and single crochet in the same spot. We're going to chain 3. Whoops, I used my tail. There's another point. Try not to use your tail. Try to use your working yarn instead of your tail, or it's going to end up wonky. So we'll start that all over again. We've got our, oh, even our knot got too tight. All right, we're going to start the whole thing over. Okay, tying the yarn onto our crochet hook, slip stitching, grabbing the tail in your pinky so you don't crochet with it by mistake. Insert your hook into the first overhead stitch. You're going to want to slip stitch into it, chain 1, single crochet in the same spot. We're going to chain 3. After the chain 3, we're going to single crochet into the next overhead stitch. We're going to chain 3 and single crochet in the next overhand stitch. Chain 3, and single crochet in the next sewn stitch on the edge of our fabric. And we're just going to chain 3 and single crochet in the next stitch all the way around this round. And then once we get to the end, I'll show you how we join this round and begin the next one. Okay, so we've made it around the entire round with our chain 3 shells, or chain 3 mesh, and I'm going to chain 1 and half double crochet into the first stitch at the beginning of the round to join. And the reason I'm doing that is because a half double crochet is the linear height of a chain 2, and that positions me in the top center of my chain 3 space. And don't laugh, because I know I said this at the end of the last round, but how pretty is this just on its own? This would be a beautiful edging to just have the chain 3 mesh. I'm going to chain 1, single crochet in that first chain 3 space. We're going to chain 3 and single crochet in the next chain 3 space. So basically we're going to be doing the same thing we did in the last round, except instead of single crocheting into the sewn stitch on the edge of the fabric, we're single crocheting into the chain 3 space from the previous round. On the very last round I'll show you how to do the picots, but for the actual body of our crochet fabric we're just going to do a mesh of chain 3 and single crochet in the next chain 3 space. So go ahead and finish this all the way around, and I'll show you how we join this round and start the next. Okay, we've made it all the way around again, so we're going to finish our last repeat with a chain 1 and half double crochet into the first single crochet at the beginning of the round, so that we have our last chain 3 space, but we have it positioned where our crochet hook is at the top center of that last one. So we can start our next round with a chain 1 and single crochet in the same chain 3 space and be in the very center of it. So you want to repeat that last round now a couple more times until we have a good 2 inches of crochet mesh fabric, which is the amount of fabric that we're replacing on the actual top. So let's do that, and we'll check back. We've got about 2 inches once we stretch this out of fabric complete. So on this next round, I want to show you how we decrease in every shell across. So we're going to start with a chain 1, and we're going to single crochet 2 together. So we're going to pick up a loop in our existing chain 3 space and pick up a loop in our next chain 3 space, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Basically that's a single crochet 2 together, and we're going to chain 3. And then we'll do a single crochet 2 together over the next 2 chain 3 spaces. We're going to insert our hook in the next chain 3 space, pull up a loop, and insert our hook in the next chain 3 space and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to chain 3, and we'll do that over the next 2 chain 3 spaces. Insert our hook, pull up a loop, and then in the next chain 3 space, insert our hook and pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And we'll chain 3. And we'll do that over the next 2 chain 3 spaces. So insert our hook in the next chain 3 space, and insert our hook and pull up a loop in the next chain 3 space. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And I'll set that down so you can see what we're doing. We're creating 1 chain 3 space where there used to be 2 chain 3 spaces. So this is how we're decreasing up the yoke to make it tighter around the neck. So we're going to chain 3. And one more time, we're going to insert our hook in the next chain 3 space and insert our hook in the next chain 3 space after that one as well. So over the next 2, we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. We're going to repeat this all the way around, and then I'll show you how we finish it. Okay, we finish a decrease round the same way we finish a regular round. We're going to start with a chain 1, and we're going to half double crochet into the first stitch at the beginning of the round so that we end up in the top center position of our chain 3 space. We're going to chain 1, and now we're going to single crochet in that same space, and we're going to do a regular round of just chain 3 and single crochet in the next chain 3 space around. So we did a decrease round in our previous round, and this current round now is just like the earlier ones where we're going to do a chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, and you want to repeat that all the way around. Okay, after we did our decrease round where we did a single crochet 2 together over 2 chain 3 spaces alternating with the chain 3, we did 3 rounds of single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, and so now we're ready to do one more decrease round. So we're going to start with a chain 1, and we're going to insert our hook in the same chain 3 space, and we're going to insert our hook in the next chain 3 space. So we've pulled up a loop in each of the 2 chain 3 spaces. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook. That's called a single crochet 2 together. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to work a single crochet, 2 single crochets together over the next 2 chain 3 spaces by inserting our hook in the next chain 3 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert our hook in the next chain 3 space, yarn over and pull up a loop. Notice we're working in 2 separate chain 3 spaces at the same time. That's how we're decreasing across 2 of them instead of 1. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook, chain 3, and then single crochet 2 together over the next 2 chain 3 spaces, chain 3, single crochet 2 together over the next 2 chain 3 spaces, chain 3, and now you want to do that all the way around. Okay, I've tried on the t-shirt now, and I'm loving how high up it's coming. It's nowhere near the height of the crew neck t-shirt that it originally was, but it's definitely come up just over my shoulder now, so I don't feel like it's hanging off my shoulders. Love the height. So now I'm ready to do my final round, and just like I promised, we're going to do picots in this round. A picot starts with a chain 3 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain from your hook. Okay, and then we'll slip stitch down into our chain 3 space, and then we're going to chain 3. We're going to single crochet in the next chain 3 space, and then we're going to do a picot. Chain 3, slip stitch into the 3rd chain from our hook, and slip stitch into the same chain 3 space. Chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, chain 3. When I say slip stitch into the 3rd chain from your hook, remember we don't count the loop that's on our crochet hook. That's never a chain. That's just your working loop on your crochet hook. So we chain 3, so we count back 3 to the first one, counting 1, 2, 3. We'll slip stitch into that 1st chain or the 3rd chain from our hook, and then we'll slip stitch in the same chain 3 space again, and then we'll chain 3, and now single crochet in the next chain 3 space. You want to repeat this all the way around, and then we'll fasten off and finish our project. Okay, I've just done my last picot and my last repeat, so we're going to do our final chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch to the 1st chain 3 space at the beginning of the round to join, and then we'll take our scissors and cut our yarn and bind off, fasten off our yarn. And then you just want to give this a little steam blocking, weave in your loose ends, and your beautiful crochet embellished t-shirt is ready to wear. What a difference a little crochet makes. We started by cutting the yoke off of our store-bought t-shirt. We used a sewing needle and created 1/2-inch stitches along the raw edge of the t-shirt, and then with our crochet hook we started crocheting into those 1/2-inch stitches to create this beautiful mesh yoke with chain 3 and single crochet. We did some decreasing along the way and finished off with this beautiful picot border. What a difference. This is going to be so gorgeous to wear. I can't wait to pick up more t-shirts so I can have one in every color of my yarn. If you'd like to see more videos on how to embellish store-bought clothing with crochet and knitting, please leave a comment below and let me know what you'd like me to teach you next.